particular, fine, you want me to come the right way? What are you going to tell the 6-year-old kid? Right? So are you going to tell them, like, don't listen to your parents, just stay back in the Philippines and like, wait? Like, does that make sense?
Yes! Yes, it does. You know why? Okay. Do you leave the kid in the Philippines and all that stuff? Yeah. You know why? Because even if you bring this kid undocumented, what chances are you to provide for the kid? What example are you providing for this kid? You know? The undocumented people run the risk. This is the risk. It's like, man, I want to go bingo. I want to go to the casino. They took my money. How dare them? I was supposed to win. No, you run the risk, right? It's a gamble. If it's kind of clear that you get the wrong side of the gamble, that's on you, bro. Hey yo, what's up you guys? So I'm coming to you with another video, and tonight we're talking about immigrants, open borders, undocumented folks with Chris Mercado on the Lucky Boy podcast. I saw a glimpse of this and it's gonna get spicy, so shall we begin? But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch, hey Mitch, all the Mitches, and pretty much I like talking about what I talk about. So current events, reviews, pop culture within the scope of entertainment, culture, and purpose. So TV, movie reviews, social below commentary. Be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. Alright, getting in the mix of this, I just did a video about the Cubans here in Las Vegas protesting, demonstrating for the freedom for Cuba, and it gives you a conversation about, like, you know, the communist that is ruining, you know, Cuba, as well as the immigrants that is coming to the US, right? And so, not just immigrants, but like undocumented folks, right? And so, when the left talks about, like, open borders, when you talk about like Kamala Harris changing her script as far as in 2019, she said, like, come here, take the risk, all this stuff, and then going into 2021 going to Guatemala and saying, like, yo, stay here, borders are closed. And you know, and again, it goes into the hypocrisy that, you know, the left wants open borders, but now, like, okay, what about the Cubans who are actually need to be in refugee status? Oh no, that's them. AOC saying, like, oh no, it is not communism that's harming Cuba, it's COVID, it's the regulations, it's all the sanctions that the US has provided on Cuba. No, it's not communism. Yeah, right. So we're gonna go into this discussion and then talk some more.
I want all immigrants to totally not care about that because they're fleeing death, violence, abject poverty. Don't listen to what Kamala has to say on that. Like, you're gonna look out for your family. It's literally instinctual. It's evolutionary. Like, we're gonna look out for our family, and if this means crossing like dangerous waters, paying like really awful people money to carry us across like terrain, they're gonna find ways to do it.
Lucky Boys podcast.
Alright, so just pause real quick. This is Chris Mercado on the Lucky Boy podcast. I was watching his other stuff just on here. I don't know too much about him, but he's an advocate for undocumented. I believe he's going to say that he's undocumented himself or whatever. And so obviously he's fighting for all of this activism and all this stuff. And so we're going to get into it. Obviously I disagree. And then we'll just go into it.
Yes.
Right, as an advocate, to change laws to protect people in your situation. But there's also people on the other side saying, like, you know, there's going to be debate, and people are going to say, like, you didn't come here, you know, in the right way. You know, why should you have these opportunities?
That's fair, right? I also think that is devoid of empathy. And from my story in particular, fine, you want me to come the right way? What are you going to tell the 6-year-old kid? Right? So are you going to tell them, like, don't listen to your parents, just stay back in the Philippines and like, wait? Like, does that make sense?
Yes! Yes, it does. You know why? Okay, so I love this. I was watching a little bit about this, and this is why I want to do this video. I'm gonna get hype on this one, because, okay, first he talks about empathy. Yeah, sure, it shouldn't be like it's not that easy. But I've been thinking about this, and other people has been thinking about this. So as easy as it is for him to be like, this is a no-brainer, for us it's the same way, right? My parents came here the right way, you know, and a lot of the immigrants that have came here the right way. And to say that you want to jump the line is no bueno, okay? Like that you are cheating the people who got here the right way. Like what the hell? He says things, so he going to what he was saying, right? Do you leave the kid in the Philippines and all that stuff? Yeah. You know why? Because even if you bring this kid undocumented, what chances are you to provide for the kid? What example are you providing for this kid? You know? I was listening to his other stuff on this same episode, and he was saying like he couldn't go to nursing, he couldn't go engineering because the opportunities was limited. Exactly. So you are hurting yourself. Your family is hurting your they're not setting you up for success by bringing you over here. Yes, they want a better life for you. Yes, they're trying to escape whatever circumstances that they are living in, but they run the risk of not providing you the right way. And maybe you don't have family in the Philippines. Like, you know what? No, I take it back. You got family in the Philippines, okay? Even if you're 6 years old, you got a auntie or tita or tito, kuya, whatever. You got someone there to take care of you. Let your parents do it the right way, and then sponsor you over, right? And so it may take decades. He's gonna go into this. It's gonna take decades. Well, maybe. And so it's just a matter of those things. So continue.
When Kamala Harris recently was at the border and
she was at Guatemala.
Made the
Well, sorry. She went to the border, but the statement he's going to say right now, she was in Guatemala.
To the world.
She said, "Don't come.
Don't come."
Exactly.
Right? And
I mean, I agree with Kamala on everything, but she got this one right. And it's only funny because it's only now it's racist to have a wall when Trump does it. It's racist when Trump doesn't want to prioritize legal immigration and de-incentivize illegal immigration, right? It was all racist back then, but now that Kamala is VP, she said, "Oh, don't come," and it's kosher with the mainstream media.
And as a business leader, I understand who she's protecting. I understand that it has the U.S. sees this as a problem and doesn't want a greater influx. And the other side of me is also, I want all immigrants to totally not care about that because they're fleeing death, violence, abject poverty. Don't listen to what Kamala has to say on that. Like, you're gonna look out for your family. It's literally instinctual. It's evolutionary. Like, we're gonna look out for our family, and if this means crossing like dangerous waters, paying like really, really awful people money to carry us across like terrain, they're gonna find ways to do it.
Okay, you know what? I just also remember on this note, like, so another thing that he's mentioning about all of these dangers and everything, you know, I want to elaborate and say, like, this is also human trafficking, you know? And you are not only you're putting yourself in danger, you are incentivizing this ability, you know? And he's talking about the economic and the business side, you know, that hurts everyone in the process. Like, the companies that are hiring undocumented people, well, they are taking advantage of them, you know. They don't have to pay them a quote unquote living wage on their terminology, and so they're taking advantage of them. So again, the undocumented is they're not getting the best opportunities, right? And then by having undocumented, it loses the fact that real Americans who are U.S. citizens who are looking for jobs, you know, it takes away from them. So this is a lose-lose situation in all areas for all peoples involved.
And then it's so strange to see too. The reason, I mean, there's reasoning behind why they want to go through this entire process to get to the U.S. There's got to be something worse over there, or what's happening to them, for wherever they're coming from.
Folks literally did a risk-reward calculation.
Right.
Folks literally did a risk-reward calculation.
Right.
And they said, I'd rather risk my life crossing these treacherous waters or treacherous terrain than to live where I currently live. They made...
Also kind of somewhat incorrect in the sense that why do they have to come to the U.S.? Could they not stay in Mexico? Could they not stay in Ecuador? Could they not stay in Guatemala? Could they not stay in all this country? You know, why do they have to go to Mexico? Why do they have to go to the U.S.? Why can't they go to fabulous Cuba? You know, why can't they go to Brazil? Why can't they go to Chile? You know, Argentina, you know? And so there was, like, Trump did this, like, stay in Mexico. Even the Mexicans, they were securing their southern border, you know? And so he talked about risk rewards and all this stuff because you know what, the Democrats are incentivizing them to come over here, right? And it's not for a better life. The Democrats are incentivizing all of these undocumented because they want the numbers, right? It's not about necessarily the votes, because there's people saying that the undocumented are voting and everything, but it's more about changing the districts, right? The numbers, the population of the district, so you can like revamp the numbers, so you can change it so that you can have more electoral college votes and everything, and so you're changing the districts around because of population, and so you know you want to have more representatives here and there, and so like it's not just necessarily quote unquote votes that are doing this, but it is somewhat there. And so he's talking about like the risk rewards and all this stuff. And that's also another funny thing, just real quick. Like, if America's so racist according to the left, why are people coming here if it's so racist, you know? So
made that choice.
They're willing to risk their lives.
Exactly. Because it would be worse there. And I think when people say, you know, why don't you just wait in line, like, one, that's devoid of that empathy, of that understanding of how much suffering there is outside of this country. And we already have tons of suffering in this country. And
okay, then why would you incentivize people coming here if there's already a lot of suffering?
The other thing too is, you know, these lines aren't like miles long, they're decades long.
Yeah.
For countries like
Exactly. And you not necessarily him, but like advocating for undocumented is jumping the line. Like, how unfair, like people have been waiting for, as he says, decades, and to prioritize undocumented folks is cheating the system. Like, imagine you're at Best Buy, so you steal a camera, or even I'll give it a little bit to you, that someone stole it for you, you didn't even know it was stolen, and so like, but you found out it was stolen, and now you like, it broke, and now you go to Best Buy, and like, hey, I want the warranty on this stolen camera. Excuse me? How about no?
make Mexico and the Philippines, that line is decades long, right? And what do you want folks to do? Totally like pause their lives and like, or give up? Like you wouldn't want that for, you know.
Or maybe if it's so bad, if the line is so long, maybe they should go to another country. Like, again, he's talking about like empathy, he's talking about all this stuff. But you know, again, like I said, you're cheating the system. You like, my parents came here the right way. A lot of other parents came here the right way. Not just Filipinos and not just Asians, you know, immigrants all throughout the US. The ones that got here the right way, they got here the right way. Like, you know what? If you want to, it's not that easy, right? You want to empathize, but at the same time, if you want to run the risk of leaving your home country to go in hiding, if to go and be undocumented in another country, you run the risk. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, I want to run the risk of I want to jump the line and I want all the benefits. No, like if you want to come here, you gotta like live like the Jedi during the Empire. They were in hiding, and so like you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to have it both ways of coming here, jumping the line, and then wanting everything that was provided for you. It doesn't work that way.
Our own family, that doesn't make any sense. And where I think that there's middle ground here is actually on the economic front. So I've presented at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce back in 2016, where I was pretty visible in the immigrant rights activist field, and that tends to be a very conservative space, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. But when you think about the immigrant entrepreneurs and how they contribute, it actually pulls in both Democrat and Republican in a really good way. So, that's always been the hope that economic, that economic benefit that immigrants provide will help with the overall feeling towards giving undocumented immigrants a path to citizenship. Mm-hmm. So earlier,
I'll just pause right there. Like, also in the conversation, it's always about like, oh, like the Republicans don't like immigrants. We like legal immigrants, okay? The people who get here the right way and the people who do it the right way, right? And so there's also this aspect of there's also this aspect of like probably giving amnesty to the people that were here, because in some cases the children were brought here without them knowing, like they were brought here when they were one. The U.S. is all they know. There's a conversation for that, right? And I'm not too far away to say like, hey, we should probably give them amnesty or whatever. There is a conversation for that, right? Especially if you live here for so many number of years and all that stuff. But we can't just do it. There has to be, I don't know. Again, I need to dive into it, but we can't just have it all for everyone, especially if you're just coming in. There has to be a line as far as like maybe if you're born 1991 or whatever, and 1991 and everyone ahead of that, whatever. But there got to be some guideline. You can't just do it to everyone. And so, yeah.
This year, the Dream and Promise Act was passed by the House. So we'll see where that goes.
It still has to go through the Senate, right?
Exactly. But it's usually this like economic value that helps with the discourse between opposing parties. And when we think about tax season, it was extended this year, like filing deadlines. But back in 2017, about $28 billion was paid by undocumented immigrants, and about 10 billion of that went to state and local funds. So when you're enjoying your public schools, just know that some undocumented immigrants were responsible for that, and they can't even get the benefit of what their taxes pay for, like unemployment benefits. So you're welcome, America.
So again, he goes into these arguments, right? And so like he's saying like that's unfair, like we're not getting treated the same. Well, yeah, you're not U.S. citizen, but at the same time, I'd be like, you know what? It is unfair. Maybe you should leave. America's the most racist country. America is the worst country. You shouldn't be here. If you think that you're being treated unfairly, you should leave. Again, it goes into having it both ways. I'm being facetious when I said all of that last part. Again, he wants it both ways. You want to be undocumented, but you don't, and you want the benefits to go with it. Like, okay, I can toss it right back at you. By being undocumented, you're not gonna do jury service. You're not gonna do a lot of things that you're not gonna be drafted. Like there's a lot of things that is not afforded by you by running under the radar. But you know, like, yes, there is a level of unfairness, but you came here undocumented, you came here the wrong way, and you shouldn't be incentivized for having the same opportunities and rights for the people who did get here the right way. So, what? Yeah.
Undocumented immigrants are paying these taxes, yet they can't
They can't fully
access
benefit.
the rewards of paying those taxes.
Exactly.
Wow.
So as a citizen, you're
There's a balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
No.
you're paying for stuff that you get out. So, you know, Social Security, your public schools, right? It's not of concern if you're a citizen, but for undocumented immigrants, we're paying all of this. We're paying the same things that you all do. Property taxes.
You put yourself in the situation. Like, he's saying like, oh, it's unfair. He's saying like this, they don't get the same benefits and all that stuff. You, the undocumented people, run the risk. This is the risk. It's like, man, I want to go bingo. I want to go to the casino. They took my money. How dare them? I was supposed to win. No, you run the risk, right? It's a gamble. If it's kind of clear that you get the wrong side of the gamble, that's on you, bro.
But
Property taxes are killing me.
But we don't get the same benefits.
Right.
So
Wow.
how fair is that?
So the challenge is how do you find the middle ground where you can create a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants?
So I think the middle ground, the way a lot of the discourse is played out is the economic value, right? So that's when you get the support of corporate America. There's been a large focus on DACA recipients, so folks who are of a certain age.
All right, so it just continues just for one more minute, and he talks about all of this stuff that I already mentioned already. And so again, he's talking about like DACA recipients, dream kids, or whatever, all that stuff. And so yeah, I mean, excuse me. I mean, yeah, that there, like I said, there's a conversation like I said, there's a conversation to be had about that. I'm not too far away that, you know, I'm willing to have amnesty or whatever to a certain degree, to a certain point, whatever, to a certain age. But again, he talks about like, and I understand, you're in a situation, you want the best outcome for your situation and overcome it, you know, and take as much as you can, right? But like I said, you know, like, my parents came here the right way, a lot of other immigrants came here the right way, and so by jumping the line, you're treating it unfair, right? And so it's just a matter of that. So comment below, tell me what you think. What do you like? What comments do you guys have about this video? And so again, thank you for watching. You follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitch. You can follow me on my joint Instagram at It's Mandatory Fun. And see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.